Morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. And today we're going to talk a little bit about this guy named Akon. Akon is an interesting guy. He's a singer, and he was going to build this thing called Akon City. And Akon City was supposed to be the sprawling metropolis in the middle of Senegal, his home country. And we're going to talk about where Akon City is, where the A coin is. And I'd like to just get you guys' thoughts on whether you think this is real or just another fantasy. Anyway, buckle up your seatbelt, get comfortable. We're going to get started on drboycetv.com right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I want to say hello to everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me okay. I'm broadcasting live actually from the Bahamas this week. My wife and I we decided to bring in the new year with my friend Michael Roberts, who is the coolest Black billionaire you'll ever meet. And so Mike invited us to come out to party at his castle. He's got a castle and all that good stuff. And so we decided to go out and do something a little bit different this year. But anyway, I hope everybody's having a blessed day and a blessed week. And I hope you're making money in the stock market. And in fact, if you haven't started investing yet, just know that I have a free $5 a day plan you can pick up at my website, boycewatkins.com. And also you can pick up a copy of my new book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. So feel free to go to my website. There's plenty of resources. In the Black Business School, we've helped over 10 million of our people learn how to build wealth in Black economics. So first off, I'm going to ask you all a question. Give me a yes or no in the chat. How many of you have heard about Akon or Acoin or Akon City or the big plans from Akon? Give me a yes in the chat if you are familiar with some of the big things Akon was seeking to do. That's an image of what he and others had anticipated that Akon City might look like. And it's interesting because I saw a more recent alleged depiction of the city. And if you notice, does anybody notice the difference between these two images? What would you say is the difference between this image here and this image here? Does anybody notice the difference there? What do you see? Yeah, the difference I noticed is that the second image has far fewer skyscrapers than the other one, than the previous image. And this, to some extent, may reflect what's happening with Akon and his big plans. Now, Akon, in case you don't know, he had big plans to go build this whole city in Senegal. I think they were pretty awesome. I was excited about it, but also, I had natural skepticism, like a lot of us have. I believe that I believe you're going to do something after you've done enough to tell me that you're really in it, with both feet. I believe in what you tell me after I've either seen you do it before or I've seen you make substantial progress on the initial vision, right? And this is really kind of a business lesson in terms of deciding what you want to invest in, who you want to invest in. I'm always looking for a track record, for example, when I was asked about this magical school that Umar Johnson was speaking about for many, many years, Umar got upset with me, but I don't care about that. I just said, well, I kind of believe stuff that I actually see. And I didn't see a board of trustees put together. I didn't see any substantial progress made. I didn't see some updates, for the donors. And I'm not saying that this is something that can never happen. I mean, a million people build a ton of schools. Marcus Klein, for example, built an amazing school in Chicago called Freedom Home Academy International. You had King Randall who built a school down in Georgia. So there are people who get schools built. And then there are people who talk about what they're building, right? And so with Akon, he wasn't just trying to build a school. Akon was trying to build a whole city. I'm not going to say I wasn't skeptical, that I didn't believe it from the jump. I just kind of saw it, and my thought was like, okay, well, let's see what it ends up looking like. And so here's what the deal is. All right, so let me read some of this to you. And one of you mentioned in the chat, AJ, not AJ, I'm sorry. He's let's see here. Somebody mentioned that Akon, that his Acorn. Here we go. C Dizzle says Acorn is down 88%, and so are your favorite stocks. Now that's a great point I want to make to you. I believe that the reason Akon City is being delayed is because a lot of it was dependent upon the boom of crypto. I believe that the rapid increase, the irrationally rapid increase in the price of crypto gave a lot of people Superman powers. It made a lot of people feel like they can build whatever they want to build. And unfortunately, crypto was built on a glass of or on a house of cards. Crypto is a very fragile industry. If you go back 3 years, even when crypto was doing better than it is now, I was telling you guys, do not put too much of your faith in crypto. Do not put too much of your wealth in crypto. Put some of it in crypto, a little bit. But don't think crypto is going to be the savior of your bank account, because one of the most important rules of investing is diversification. So I made some money off crypto. I still own some crypto. I own a lot of stock. I also own a lot of real estate. So what I did was, when stocks and crypto were doing well, I sold. Everybody else was buying. I was selling. I sold crypto. I sold some of my stock. I put it over in real estate, and I put it in places where it wouldn't be hit as hard, if there was a crash. And so ultimately, the fact that Acorn's down 88% is not necessarily the crime here. The problem would be if you were planning to build an entire city off of the success or failure of Acorn. That would put you in the category of where Sam Bankman-Fried was. Sam Bankman-Fried put a lot of his faith in FTX and the future of FTX in his FTT coin. So when the FTT coin was strong, he was strong. He was the strongest guy in the building when FTT was strong. When FTT goes flat, he suddenly goes flat. He's the weakest guy in the building. So this is really a lesson on investing. You got to diversify, people. You can't just have all your eggs in one basket. That is not good wealth management. And this was probably the first thing they taught me in the PhD program, is that if you don't diversify your wealth, then you're really asking for trouble. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, don't forget that tonight, Dr. Claude Anderson is going to join us for our book club meeting. We're reading Powernomics right now. And so if you'd like to join us, just go to blackkeystogreatness.com. And I can give you guys the link. Let me turn my phone alarm off. Sorry. I'll put the URL on the screen so you guys can join us tonight. And it is our book club. We've helped really, I think there are thousands of members in the book club now. And so if you'd like to go through Powernomics, we're going through it with you. We're educating the entire community. And it is free to anybody that wants to be a part of what we're doing in the Black Business School. All right, so let me just read more of this to you, and let me see here. So this is the BBC. Now you got to take it with a grain of salt, because these are Europeans talking, and they don't have a lot of faith in anything that Black people say that we're going to do. So I'm not really so much a fan of everything that's here, but I think that there is some talking points here about Akon City and Acorn and things like that we may want to learn a little bit from. Not to the point where it's not possible that Akon City can't get built. And also the other thing too is that when you're talking about building, substantial projects like this, you're going to have some fails, you're going to have some setbacks, and this is where the courage of being a builder comes into play. There are a lot of people who don't want to build things in the Black community because they've seen things fail. For example, there are a lot of people, who said Deion Sanders was absolutely right to not want to be associated with Jackson State. I mean, look at the school. Compare their resources to Colorado. They don't have the same facilities. They don't have the same money. And I get that. That makes perfect sense. But remember this, that the people who created the NFL, when they bought the Chicago Bears for $100, they also had a raggedy league. They had other places they could be. They had more established institutions they could be a part of, but they made a sacrifice for the future. And they also took on that ultimate risk and also the work that comes with building something that is yours. You know, the reason that building is hard and a lot of people don't do it is because people are scared. They see others fail. Brigham Young created Brigham Young University and pretty much the whole state of Utah and all of Salt Lake City by literally getting 250 Mormons into horses and carriages and getting them to go out into this unknown territory. So they got clowned like crazy. What they were doing was stupid at the time. It looked ridiculous. It looked like it could never succeed and it was definitely going to fail. And it could have failed. But instead, it became Salt Lake City, which is one of the richest cities on earth because somebody made a sacrifice. So what I ask you to consider is, as much as you might want to clown what Akon had in terms of his vision, I would encourage you, instead of clowning, just understand that it's easy to clown when you're sitting on the sidelines and you ain't trying to build nothing. You know, it's easy to clown the person who gets his face muddy and goes through the fire and puts his ass on the line and all that. If you're just sitting on the side just watching, get your ass in there and do something yourself. What are you building? Or are you just simply following behind in the white man's footsteps? Are you being the alpha who's actually going to build? Or are you being the beta who follows the alpha after the alpha has already made the sacrifice? It's up to you. I'm not telling you that there's something wrong with you if you take one path or the other. Just know those are two different realities. So I want to say this as I talk about Akon City. I admire Akon for trying his best to have this vision. I admire him for saying, I'm going to go to Africa, see the potential of Africa. I'm going to try to get in here and see if we can build something special. I don't know the specifics of that deal, though. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if there was money coming in from maybe China, or maybe money coming in from Saudi Arabia, or money coming in from corporations that are going to get their piece. I don't think it necessarily undermines the quality of what you're doing because you have these partners out here. I'm not saying that makes it a bad thing, but you got to be really careful because the Chinese are positioning themselves to own as much of Africa as they possibly can. And what the Chinese are probably going to figure out is the same thing that the Russians figured out when they were trying to own a piece of Brooklyn by buying the Brooklyn Nets in New York. Does anybody remember when the Brooklyn Nets were purchased by the Russians in New York? Who was the face of that purchase of the Brooklyn Nets arena? Was it a Russian guy? Was it a white dude that they put on the billboard in Times Square? Or was it a rapper? Anybody remember that? When they put Jay-Z's face up there and they said, and it had everybody run around saying, Jay-Z's buying the Brooklyn Nets, y'all. Jay-Z's buying the Brooklyn Nets. He's opening the whole stadium, y'all. Yeah, anybody remember that? I sat in the car with Cornell West for about 6 hours one day, and I was doing an event in Brooklyn at Medgar Evers College. And Cornell and I talked about it in extreme detail. And one thing that he said was that Jay-Z was basically used as a mascot. He was put up as a mascot to give the false impression that Jay-Z was buying this basketball team. Jay-Z was not buying a basketball team. Jay-Z temporarily owned about 1/16 of 1% of the team. He never owned any piece of the Nets on the insignificant level. He made a couple $1 million, but they got $1 billion payday off of this, right? So you have to be really thoughtful about, sort of what you interpret when it comes to people presenting something as sort of this amazing Black project or amazing Black ownership. So for example, I tell you guys straight up, point blank period, we own 100% of the Black Business School. I know that there's been rumors. I know there's been conspiracy theories. I've seen it all. I think I saw people saying that I was secretly controlled by the Jews. And then I saw another one that said that there was a Chinese man behind me, controlling everything that happened in the Black Business School and telling me what to do. No, I've never, ever once ever had to ask anybody's permission to do any single thing that we do in the Black Business School because we are 100% Black owned. Now, have we partnered with other people who are not Black? I'm sure we have a couple of times, but at the same time, though, it does not mean that we aren't the owners and the controllers, right? So most institutions, I think, have they have perceptions and then there's reality, right? So for example, one thing that the Jewish community gets a lot of flack for is they will give you the perception that someone else is controlling things. They'll give you the illusion that this person is in charge when really they're pulling the strings in the background because they actually have the equity ownership in the institution. So with Akon City, I have no idea who's going to be writing those multi-billion-dollar checks. It won't be Akon. It can't be Akon. Akon does not have that kind of money. But remember, Elon Musk didn't have that much money when Elon Musk created Tesla. Elon Musk had to go to banks. He had to go to banks and investors in order to buy Tesla, in order to build Tesla. He had to get, other people to, venture capital funds to loan him money to buy Twitter, things like that. That's not, Elon Musk is the front man. He's not necessarily the guy who's writing all those checks. And so Akon, building Akon City as a partnership is not necessarily a crime. I think that the bigger question I would always ask about something like that is whether or not the Senegalese people really feel like they're benefiting from this project. It's like Nigeria. Nigeria is sad to me. I'm 40% Nigerian actually, and Nigeria is. I'm Igbo, by the way. That's my tribe. Igbo, 40%. That's what my DNA says. And the sad thing about Nigeria to me is that Nigeria has all of this oil. They have probably $1 trillion worth of oil reserves or something. And you go to Nigeria and all you see is all this poverty everywhere. And it just bothers me. It's crazy. And that really says that the reason that there is poverty is because after the Europeans done took their chunk, and then the elites, that sold the country's resources take their piece, there's nothing left for the people. So I would love to see something amazing built, even if the Chinese are investors in this. I'm not saying that makes it a bad thing. Maybe it'll help you get something done. I just really want to see, the people, able to say like, hey, we have another 100,000 jobs and they're high paying jobs and our quality of life has gotten better. China pulled that off, for example. China, when they industrialized, sure, wealthy people the rich got richer. They're always going to get richer. But what also happened is that a lot of poor people in rural areas were brought into the cities and their standard of living went up. And that was pretty awesome. That's a really good thing for China. So I'd like to see the same thing happen in Africa that happened in China. And maybe Akon can be part of that, but I don't know if he is if that's really the case. I have no idea. By the way, do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Don't forget that you can get a copy of my new book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, by visiting Amazon or BoyceWatkins.com. That's my website. I also have a free training on how to start a family investment club. So if you're interested in creating a family investment club in order to build wealth in your family, I have a training I put on my website that you can access absolutely free. So feel free to go to my website. All right. So let me read actually some of this article. So in this BBC article, they said that R&B singer Akon has much delayed plans for Akon City, an African metropolis on the Senegalese coast. He says that they're 100,000% moving. Now, this article was written 4 days ago. Okay. Go ahead, Akon. It said, now here's the problem. They said that there are goats currently grazing on the site. Akon says that critics will look super stupid in the future. Okay, well, I'm not going to be a critic because I don't want to be super stupid. So I believe in you, man. I want to see that you get this done. In an exclusive interview with the BBC, the Smack That Tiger singer also assured supporters waiting for refunds from his token of appreciation cryptocurrency campaign that they will receive their money back, even if he has to pay them out of his own pocket. So he basically says, so what's going on is that there are a lot of people who bought the A coin and they're looking for refunds. They're very upset because they feel that what was promised was never delivered and they're looking for refunds. He says he's going to get the refunds even if he has to pay them out of his own pocket. And I think the question I would ask in response to that is, well, why haven't you done it yet? They've been asking for the refunds for a while, about a year and a half now. I think it was all launched maybe around the end of 2020. And this is the end. Well, so 2 years, I guess 2 years ago is when, you started first collecting the money and made the announcements. So why haven't these individuals gotten their money back yet? Right now, I'm not saying that that's not going to happen. I would just ask that question. That says, widely known for his string of noughties chart hits, Akon, who was born in the United States but partly raised in Senegal, announced two ambitious projects in 2018 that were supposed to represent the future of African society. So here are 4 years later, and people are asking, how's it going? right? So the first was a $6 billion city with boldly curvaceous skyscrapers. It was to run on the second initiative, a brand new cryptocurrency called Acoin. So this is the part where I got a little bit skeptical and a little bit concerned. So basically, Akon says, "I'm going to build this magic city," right? Not to confuse it with the magic city that exists in Atlanta. So he says, "I'm going to build this big, beautiful city that's going to have amazing skyscrapers, and it's going to be like Wakanda. You're going to have flying cars and AI elephants that will carry you to your job." And I'm kidding, I'm joking. He didn't say all that, but seriously, it's going to be this big, amazing city. And then here's the part that concerned me. He said that it's going to be fueled on a new cryptocurrency called the Acoin. Now, I understand the temptation to dive into crypto because crypto creates tremendous possibilities. I'm a big believer in crypto, actually. Crypto is an amazing opportunity to develop alternative economies and alternative currencies. The reason I'm really concerned about what happened with Sam Bankman-Fried and all this other stuff is because there are people who have taken advantage of the hope and possibility and the belief, the fanaticism behind cryptocurrency, and created projects that just turned into absolute crap. The Sam Bankman-Fried, the Sam Bankman-Fried bankruptcy has disrupted a lot of the trust that people had in cryptocurrency. It's like you meet some woman that really falls in love with you and believes everything you say and will follow you all the way to the grave, and then she finds out that you're a complete liar, a complete fraud, you were making things up, or you were promising things you couldn't deliver. Well, then guess what? That person isn't going to be interested in getting into a new relationship after you broke her heart, right? She's going to be really much more guarded and much more afraid. So crypto investors are kind of feeling the same way. They're feeling a little bit hurt right now. Sam Bankman-Fried wasn't just a crypto guy. He was literally the leading advocate for crypto. He was the guy that made you believe in crypto. He was almost, I think some people even called him a crypto Jesus or something. And so that's a problem, that when you get to the point in investing and in finance where you start to believe that someone or something is like a Jesus type figure, then you're setting yourself for disappointment, because crypto is the wild, wild west. Crypto still has a lot to work through. It has a lot of volatility it's got to go through. But the thing that gives me hope and faith in crypto, though, long term, is that there are people who aren't easily swayed. There are people who are not fly-by-night investors. They're not quick speculators. They're not trying to buy the coin so they can flip it and double their money in a week. These are people that are really committed, and those are the ones that are going to keep crypto alive. If you look at the history of any great venture, any great institution from the very beginning, you will find that there were always those people who were just in it to win it, who were just in it for life, who weren't going to waver, and that's it. And really, that's kind of how you have to approach anything that you really believe in, whether it's your small business, whether it's your family, or it's your marriage, or it's your dream or your goal. You have to be committed to sticking to it, even when times get hard. So those are the people that are going to make crypto strong again, because I do believe crypto is going to recover. It's just going to be much more regulated. And you're also gonna really lose some people long term. Now, the Acoin, and I'll show you guys what's going on with the Acoin. If the Acoin was the financial foundation for the creation of Akon City, then I don't have a lot of faith, honestly, that the Akon City is going to get built. And let me show you why. So the Acoin here, if you look here, here's a chart of Acoin, and I'm just going to hit 1 year. Acoin has gone down 88% in the last year. You can see it here on this page. I hope you can give me a yes if you can see it on this chart. But you can see that Acoin has literally plummeted. It's gone down from maybe 23, 24 cents to almost nothing. And it's been kind of depressing to kind of watch it drop like that. And so in fact, the total market cap of all the Acoins on Earth, according to this chart, according to Coinbase, it appears that it's I could have swore I saw it was like $5,000, $6,000, but maybe I got that wrong. I gotta look again. Okay, the market cap is gone. It's not there anymore. But the point is that if the Acoin is the economic foundation for Akon City, then there will be no Akon City, right? Now, if the crypto market had maintained itself and had remained strong, then maybe some projects could get done. And one of the things I would definitely say is that this is my little challenge to some of the entertainers, in the rappers and stuff like that. First of all, I think Black people, I'm going to tell you the truth, I think you have too much faith in entertainers. You have too much You give them a little too much attention in the sense of believing that they can do things that they really can't do. Diddy every about once every 6 months, Diddy will come out and make some big announcement that he's done something amazing, and people will get excited because I think they have like this Jesus complex when it comes to people like him. Like he'll say, "We're gonna go buy the Carolina Panthers, y'all," and then you'll hear nothing about it, right? And what happens is that you have an industry that is built more on flash than on substance. So if I go out and make an announcement that I'm doing this big amazing thing, then people get excited and they start to believe it. And I get all this credit, I get all the likes and shares, and everybody gets excited about what I'm doing. But then there's not that much accountability to follow up and say, okay, how's that project going? Like, where's that project at? And I can tell you this right now. If I promise anything in the Black Business School, if I say, hey, y'all, we doing this big thing, and then I ask y'all to put any money behind it, you have every right to come back, a few months later and say, okay, what's going on with that? How's that going? Like, I think somebody asked about the financial flashcards, right? Where are your flashcards, boys? Did the flashcards get delivered? Well, yes, they are on the way. We sold out of financial flashcards for kids, and they are on the way. They will be here in January. The delivery time is scheduled to be around January 10th, January 15th. And anybody who ordered financial flashcards for your kids, you will get those flashcards. And the other thing too is I'm not promising you that I'm going to build you an entire city, but I can promise you that I can create tools that will allow you to build generational wealth in your family, right? And this is where and there's the website if you want to go take a look at the financial flashcards. But here's the thing, right? I don't really think that it's necessary to make these big, dramatic, big, overwhelming promises. Like one of the things that I think that happens in entertainment is that people feel like they have to really like create a vision or sell a dream that is literally going to change the whole world. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've had people come to me and tell me they have $1 billion business idea that's going to create billions of dollars of wealth in the Black community. And I'm sitting there thinking, but you haven't even made $100 yet. Why don't you go for the little wins and be proud of those instead of always going straight for the big win? I understand having the big dream for sure, but big dreams take big commitment over extremely long periods of time by lots and lots of people. And so one of the things I've observed online, especially, is that there's a lot of talking, and a lot of times I think the prototypical example in the Black community of a project that was discussed for many years and never got completed was like the Umar Johnson School, and it was unfortunate because I believed in it. I gave some money to it. And he kept talking about it. He was talking about it in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. And maybe eventually he'll get a school built, right? And that's fine. But I remember when people started asking, hey, how's the school going? There was a lot of negative reaction, a lot of defensiveness, a lot of anger. Like, well, who the hell are you? You don't believe in me? You're like the people who set Marcus Garvey up and got him sent to jail. It's like, no, man, people were just asking, they made a donation. They were just trying to say, like, okay, can you show us something small that you've completed that is moving toward the final objective? And anybody who gets offended by a question like that, I challenge you to change your thinking. When somebody gives you money to invest or build a project, you are not just taking their money and being able to walk away scot-free. You are giving them the right to some degree of accountability. If you don't want the accountability, then don't take the money. If you don't want the accountability, don't take the money. But if you take the money, then the money comes with a trade-off of accountability. So, for example, if you go to financialflashcards.com, where we have financial flashcards that have been used all in households all across this country to educate our kids on wealth, and you buy flashcards for your family, and we say, oh, this is a pre-sale, they'll be coming in about a month. You can email support@theblackbusinessschool.com, our customer support team, and they will tell you, oh yeah, don't worry, Mr. Smith, your flashcards will be on the way. They're not going to say, oh, how dare you ask those questions? You haven't got no right to question me. What's wrong with you? You just don't believe. You a sellout. That's not how you do business. That's not how you build trust with the consumer. That's not how you build trust with the investor. So when it comes to Akon City, what I really wish was, instead of Akon promising a $6 billion city, I wish Akon had just promised something like a $5 million school, right? Like that would be easier to deliver. It wouldn't be as much pressure on him. Everybody would be very proud of him. And the reason that maybe wasn't considered is because a $6 billion city is much flashier, right? It gives you more of that hip hop swag that a lot of rappers like to lean into to show you how they're balling and blinging out of control. And that creates a paradox for you because you're now trying to pretend to be somebody that you're not. I can't tell you how many rappers I know who run around here making you think they got 100 million in the bank and they barely trying to pay the mortgage. I have worked with some of these guys and I've been like, man, he's really desperate to get that $1,200 payment for a guy that's claiming to be worth $80 million. Why are you like calling me 8 times to get $1,200 that you're gonna get your money on Tuesday, not Monday, but Tuesday, and you're freaking out about that. But you're worth $80 million. That's what you're telling all your fans online. So I'm telling you, black people, a lot of these people are just lying to you. I'm not saying Akon's lying. I don't know how much money Akon's worth. I don't know what his bank account looks like, but I do know this. I do know that even when you make a lot of money, if you create a lot of financial obligations, like you got babies, mamas, and tons of mortgage payments, you paying rent for 18 relatives, and you got 20 cars in the garage, and all this stuff that makes you look rich. Well, just know a lot of those people are financially strained. They're cash poor because they have so many financial obligations. And in the entertainment industry, don't pay at that level. It just doesn't. Oh, I didn't get any sugar. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. If you haven't done it yet, my name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. This is drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. If you like the content that you see here, I encourage you to subscribe and join the and feel free to join the podcast and hit the notification bell to let me know, or so I can let you know when we go live, so you can participate in the conversation. All right, so here's the next thing. So I'm reading here on BBC. They said that on an overcast day on September 2020, Akon, dressed in a powder blue suit, strode confidently into a dusty red patch of disused land. There to meet him was a gaggle of journalists from around the world who had assembled for the hitmaker's latest launch, a super city packed with stunning architecture. Local people clapped as a veil was pulled back on a plaque marking the future building site. But 2 years on, the question of whether or not the plans will ever come to fruition divides communities in the region. Quote, "We thought we would work on it, but at this pace, maybe our children will," one of the residents of the area tells the BBC. "We remain hopeful for the project. We hope that our children will stay here to work." Another resident says they no longer believe in the project, before adding that when it comes, if it finds us here, we'll see how we can contribute. So they're basically saying we don't believe it's going to happen because we've seen no evidence that is being built. These are people that actually live near the land that is supposed to be the location of Akon City. They said Akon City was initially compared in the press to Wakanda. See, this is, again, let's go back here, right? So this gets back to what I'm telling you guys about being overly influenced by entertainment. Give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. How many of you know that Wakanda is not real? Give me a yes in the chat if you're aware that Wakanda is not a real place. Wakanda is not a real city. There are no magical black people who live in this secret city that's hidden from white people that somehow have this, this magical metal called vibranium that allows them to do all these amazing things, where they're infinitely rich and infinitely smart, even though they didn't have to do any work to be that smart. They're just smart coming out of the womb. How many of y'all know that Wakanda is not real? Give me a yes in the chat. Okay, so we've established that Wakanda isn't real. Wakanda is not a real place. Wakanda is a fabrication of the minds of writers at the Disney Corporation. They are a creator. They were created by the Disney Corporation to capture the imagination of black people, so they can make a real $1 billion a year or every 2 years or whatever, putting out Black Panther movies. In fact, they probably make a couple $1 billion a year off of all the trademarks and copyrights that they were able to file as a result of capturing your imagination with this, artificial location called Wakanda. I'm not saying Wakanda is bad. I'm not dissing the movies or anything like that. I'm a Disney stockholder. We Disney stockholders, we make money whenever they put out a new Wakanda movie. I think it's great. But the thing about it though is that sometimes I think we get so caught up in the fantasy that the entertainers then come along and they claim to create a false reality that's going to match a fantasy that you have in your head. Like I can't tell you how many people really thought Hillman was like a real school because they watched, A Different World. Hillman's not a real school, right? Hillman is like a mixture between like Morehouse and Spelman, right? And so ultimately, I feel like with Akon being the flashy entertainers unfortunately they have to capture the flash. They have to look good, sound good, smell good, be cool, be hip, be fly. And the thing is that talk is cheap. Talk is different from actually doing the work. The people that I know that actually do the work, that will actually get a project done, are not the flashy type people. They ain't got time to be flashy. They too busy working. They're too busy with their nose down to the grindstone. They're too busy putting together teams and going through the minutia and the details of what's required to build something that massive, right? But if you're just an entertainer, all you gotta do is say it, and people will give you credit as if you actually built it. So Diddy comes along and says, hey, y'all, we're going to go buy the Carolina Panthers. Ain't nobody asked, well, where are you going to get the money? Ain't nobody asked, well, what kind of ownership team have you structured? Nobody's asked, well, how much money, how much real cash have you put into the project to make it real? We're just so inspired from the emotionality of imagining the image, the entertainment of it all, imagining the fantasy of Diddy sitting up in the owner's box looking cool, right, as an owner of the Carolina Panthers, that we don't even ask any of those hard questions. So I will just tell you this is another business tip here. When you get somebody, I get pitched business ideas all the time. I get pitched Wakanda visions constantly. Everywhere I go, every city I go to on this earth, somebody is telling me about something they're trying to build or something they want me to invest in. And one of the things I can tell you is that when you ask me about stuff like that, first thing I'm gonna ask you is, how many years have you been committing to this vision? And how much of your own money have you put into this? There's a whole theory on this in finance, actually. So there's research papers written on this. It's called the lemon theory. And the lemon theory basically says that if you ain't put no skin in the game, if you haven't put real money into this, then I don't believe you. I don't believe you. What you're doing is you're selling me a dream so that I'll put real money into an illusion that you've created for me. And then once I put real money into it, then the illusion gains value because I bought into it, but you never really bought into it. You only bought into the chatter. You only bought into designing the vision that I was going to actually pour real money into. Do you follow what I'm saying? And this is kind of the illusion. This is part of the illusion of crypto. When crypto is done badly, that's what happens. You have somebody that comes along and says, I have this new coin I'm creating. It's not real, but it's awesome because I'm famous and you love my movie, so that's why you want to believe me. And we've created 1 billion units of this coin, and we're selling them for $1. And I'm gonna maintain ownership of half of the coins, right? So we have 1 billion units. That means that I have $500 million worth of these fake coins, and then you can buy the other half. So you then spend $1 per coin buying these coins that then go into my treasury. So I then actually become a multimillionaire because I sold you a dream and you bought into it and you gave me money to own a coin that didn't exist 10 minutes before I told you about it. And so ultimately, what I really think you have to just kind of pay attention to here, and I'm not saying that Akon City can't be real. I'm not saying that the A coin can't come back. I hope that it does. I believe that it can. But the thing is that, I just would like to know, okay, Akon, this is what you want to do. I respect it, man. Show some proof that you have written, just $10 million worth of checks out of your own bank account, for this vision. Show me that you have literally, show me like the cash checks, like they went to the construction firm. Show me construction companies and law firms and other groups that can say, we can testify. Akon wrote us a check for $1.5 million because he's so committed to the Akon City vision. That's what makes it real. But there's this old saying. Has anybody ever heard that old saying that talk is cheap? You ever heard people say talk is cheap? Well, the reason they say talk is cheap is because talking is free. It costs me nothing to tell you. I could literally say, I'm going to build a new city. It's going to be called Boyceville, and Boyceville is going to be like Wakanda on steroids. And in Boyceville, the streets will be made out of gold, and everyone will be able to ride in a flying car to work. And we're also gonna have, what else are we gonna have in Boyceville? Give me some other recommend. What else you want to see in Boyceville? Come on, tell me what else y'all want to see in Boyceville. Let's see here. We're going to have our own schools. We're going to have our own sports leagues. We're going to have massive skyscrapers made out of platinum. Every child, when they turn 5, is going to get a free gold grill for their teeth, so they can have shiny teeth when they smile like that, so they can be like the rappers. There will be no taxes. That's right, no taxes. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. There's going to be there's going to be every man can have 5 wives. Every wife can have 5 husbands if she wants. We're going to have hospitals. We get free healthcare. Hospitals that are 100% free. What else? Come on. What else? Oh, in Boyceville, everybody will have a PhD in economics. I'm going to give everybody a PhD. You're going to have ATM machines that give free money. How about that? Free money. Electricity won't cost nothing. What else? We're going to have colleges. There we go. Thank you. All up in the comments. I appreciate that. Oh, of course. So the colleges will be free. What else? Oh, organic food. The organic food will not just be organic and healthy. If you eat the food, it'll make you grow an inch taller. Like, it'll make you taller. And if you want to lose weight, we have this special organic compound we're going to create that's going to make it so that if you eat one bite of the food, you'll lose 5 pounds immediately. So it's going to be pretty amazing. Also, what else? Okay. No, yeah, 4-hour work week, Amos. No, let's make it a 3-hour work week. Everybody will have 3-hour work weeks. We're going to give free Bitcoin every Tuesday. And this is all going to be in Boyceville. And everybody's going to be able to grow weed and smoke it as much as they want. And we're going to have 10 Foot Lockers with free Jordans. That's a good one. Okay, let me stop. I'm being a jerk right now. I don't mean to be a jerk. But my point, here's the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that anybody can talk. Right? Anybody can talk. People talk to me all the time. People always try to pitch me stuff, and it gets really frustrating, because it's like I don't want to hear you talk. I want to see your actions. I'm not saying Akon isn't committing any actions. This is not about Akon. So this is not. I told you I'm rooting for him. I really want to see this get done. But I also am rooting. More importantly, I'm rooting for the community. I'm rooting for you. I get really. I kind of cringe when there's this big flashy project. Entertainers are very flashy. I'm not flashy. That's why my channel will never get the same attention as those who lean on rappers and entertainers and all that. Like, the entertainers are always going to get all the attention, and that's fine. That's because we live in a society that's built on this instant gratification. We live in a society where the instant emotional gratification of what you're looking at or what you're hearing outweighs the commitment necessary to actually manifest and create things that are going to be sustainable and lasting. So it's the same for the same reasons that it's more flashy to have sex than it is to actually raise a baby till the baby's 18 years old. That's hard. That means you're committing approximately 150,000 hours of consistent effort toward the same goal. Whereas sex, you can do that in a few minutes, right? So the instant gratification culture means that the flashy ideas are always going to win. The problem is that the flashy ideas will almost never manifest. I like the substantive ideas. So let me give you an example. I'd be more impressed with Akon's vision if Akon had, instead of Akon having a $6 billion vision where it appears that nothing has been done, I'd rather him have a $6 million vision that is 80% done. Because then you could build on that. You could say, okay, we could take this to the next level. And this was something actually that we applied when we created the Black Business School. I mean, now we have over 153,000 students worldwide, and we've literally connected with millions of people. We have almost 1 billion views on different YouTube channels and all that stuff. But in the beginning, my goal was not to try to say, okay, how do I have 1 billion views on YouTube, or how do I get 153,000 students? My goal in the beginning was, how do we get like 30 people to listen? Or how do we generate $500 so that we can, make the next move and build off the $500 move, right? That's bootstrapping. They call that bootstrapping in business. Bootstrapping is, in my view, a much more reliable process of building than to try to create something massive, that like a massive fantasy that is so huge, overwhelming, and demoralizing that you just get depressed because you can't even get the first step off the ground. That's what I believe. So I would say that when I read about Akon City, I think that the thing that makes me wonder what's going to happen with this, or if it's going to be built, and I'm not saying it won't be built. I don't want to be in that category of people saying that it won't happen. I believe it's possible. I mean, white people build cities, so why can't black people? But I think that its connection to the A-coin is what makes me wonder what's going to happen, because the A-coin collapsing means that the economic foundation of Akon City also collapsed. Because Akon specifically made the point that he was creating a new cryptocurrency that was going to be the economic engine behind the city. Well, the cryptocurrency collapsed, so that means everything connected and correlated to the cryptocurrency is also collapsing just by default. And I think also that small projects are okay. It's like football. If you talk about football, you could be one of those teams that tries to throw the ball 80 yards down the field on every play, and then every throw is an incompletion and you don't get any yards. Or you could be a smash mouth football team that just says, look, we're not going to try to get 80 yards on every play. I'm going to throw the little outlet pass and get me 7 yards, or I'm going to run the ball and try to get 4.5, 5 yards of play. Right? We're going to throw the ball down the field every now and then, but for the most part, we're just going to try to move the ball. We're going to just try to get a first down and then just get a series of first downs and work our way into the end zone. That's really, in my view, the method of business building that actually works more effectively than simply trying to throw the ball down the field. So when I look at entertainers and the way some of them talk, they talk in these really big, gigantic terms. And if you look in the backgrounds of many of them, unfortunately, they don't have the skill set. They don't have the training. What makes you think that someone can build a city just because they made a great album, right? What makes you think that Diddy can own the Carolina Panthers just because Diddy has run Bad Boy Records, right? It doesn't mean that he can't do it. It just means you probably want to look for some evidence that it's actually happening. So let me see. I'm going to look here and see what some of the questions are. Are you helping? Let's see. Lakeem says, are you helping to support the vision or just being critical? I'm actually supporting the vision of the Black Business School. We built an HBCU for the future. That takes most of my time. Every single day, I commit several hours a day to building the Black Business School. So we are building a vision. Akon's vision is Akon's vision. He's not helping to build our vision. We're not necessarily helping to build his. But if he wanted to work with the Black Business School, we would certainly invite him to participate. And in exchange, we'd love to support and consult with him on Akon City. So absolutely. Somebody says, Jack says, we talk too much. He should have started building quietly and using the coin money and not talk about it until. Yeah, I think that's the best approach, right? Don't talk until you've actually created something. And unfortunately, in entertainment, that doesn't work. In entertainment, you talk first and do it later, because people aren't going to hold you accountable to whether you actually did what you talked about. So that's kind of the thing about entertainment. That's why the Black community has not built nearly as much institutional infrastructure as it could have built, because you lean too much on entertainers that don't even know the first thing about how to build an institution. They know how to make an album. The institutions were built by the corporations that signed them to the record deals. That's where the institutions were built. And those institutions were built by white people, by Jewish people, by Asian people. They were not built by Black people. Institution building is a different kind of process. In fact, actually, in my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, one of the things that I mentioned is that if you want your children to understand where power comes from, teach them how to build institutions while they're young. Learning how to build institutions is a more important skill for a child than learning biology, than learning math, than learning any of the things, or the Old English literature, all the other crap that they learn, European history, all that. You can put that to the side and teach them how to build institutions, and that's going to go a long way. Institutions are defined. One way to define an institution, or at least a type of institution, called a corporation. One definition I remember seeing in a management class is that a corporation is a nexus of relationships. A nexus of relationships, like a web of relationships. So by teaching things like relationship management, conflict resolution, that goes a long way toward your child's ability to develop teams and organizations. Building a football team is building an organization. Building a soccer team is like building an institution. So ultimately, institution building is literally one of those critical skills that gets overlooked on a regular basis, but it's one of those keys to actually having the ability to build wealth. If Elon Musk didn't have the ability to build teams and institutions, he couldn't own SpaceX. He wouldn't be one of the richest people on the planet. He couldn't have built Tesla. He couldn't have done any of these things because you can't do it all by yourself. So this is another fallacy of what you're seeing. With the entertainer, you get into the idolatry or the or demagoguery of one guy standing up here and saying, look at me, I'm the greatest ever. I'm King Kong consciousness. I'm the man who's the most important man in the room all the time. And I'm going to build this whole city because I am so extraordinary and I'm so amazing. And I want everybody else to just sit back and watch and worship me for how great I am. Well, that's not how institutions get built. Institutions get built when you have people that might still be the figurehead, but they're putting together massive teams with hundreds, even thousands of people that are all working toward a collective goal. They're all on code. They're all operating under the same set of principles and guidelines to get things done. There's a lot of details that comes with building institutions, and those details get missed over when you live in a world that's built on flashy instant gratification. Everybody gets hyped and excited because there's a cool song to go with whatever it is you're talking about, but nobody really understands the many millions of little details that have to occur for something to actually get finished. Let's see here. So let's see. Somebody says he doesn't have all the facts about Deion. His criticism is marred. I don't criticize Deion Sanders for going to Colorado. I understand it. Let's make this clear about Deion Sanders. What Deion Sanders did was not in any way atypical. It was not in any way outrageous. It was not in any way, odd. It was expected. It was absolutely expected. It was, because nobody on earth expects the black man to stay in places where the going has gotten tough. Nobody expects the black man to have the skill or the discipline required to do what white men have done since the beginning of time, or since for a very long time in this country anyway, which is to do the hard work and have the discipline to actually build something from the ground up. So with Deion, anybody that did criticize Deion, they were criticizing him because they admired him so much. They criticized him because they thought, man, maybe this is the guy. He says, I'm the guy. I'm that dude, right? He always say, I'm that dude, right? Which was like him saying, I'm the alpha. I'm the alpha. I'm the leader, right? Well, I think a lot of people say, well, if you are that dude, if you are the alpha, then that means you could be the originator. You could be the creator of something great. You can create greatness where there was nothing, like Akon City, where you could take some barren wasteland that nobody wants and turn it into this amazing metropolis. That's what white folks did with Silicon Valley. That's what they did. They went to an orange grove that had no businesses. Nobody wanted that land, and they turned it into some of the most valuable real estate on the planet because they put all these tech corporations right there in Silicon Valley. So a lot of people thought Deion had the makings of an alpha, but by him going to Colorado, that's not an alpha move. That's a beta move because you're not the originator. You're not the first. You're just following behind what the white man already built. You're not building something of your own. It's like he built Colorado. He invested. He sacrificed. He did what you didn't want, what you were afraid to do. And he built this damn university, and with his partners and teams and allies or whatever. And now University of Colorado has a $2 billion endowment. And you're saying, okay, I'm going to just go ahead and follow behind what he's got going on and be a part of his legacy, as opposed to creating a legacy, a unique legacy that's uniquely mine. That's institution based as opposed to celebrity based. So I'm not saying that Deion is a bum for doing what he did. I'm saying that those actions don't tell me that you're that dude. That to me, that dude, let me tell you who that dude is. Let me give you an example of that dude. Marcus Garvey was that dude. Marcus Garvey went and he created something out of nothing. He was the alpha. He was not the beta. He did not go and search for the best job he could get. He didn't go try to go, say, well, which white man will hire me? I'm a smart black man. They should really want me around to build their institution. Marcus Garvey said, I'm that dude. I'm the alpha. I'm going to create something where there is nothing and create millions where there's poverty. Who else was that dude? Anybody heard of O.W. Gurley? Give me a yes in chat if you've heard of O.W. Gurley. O.W. Gurley is the creator and founder of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. O.W. Gurley was that dude because O.W. Gurley got plenty of job offers from white folks. He had high-ranking positions with white folks. He was making Deion Sanders level money working for white folks, and they wanted him to stay. It wasn't like he went to Oklahoma and created Black Wall Street because he had nothing better to do. He passed up the job opportunities because he said, I want to go and create something in my image. I'm the alpha. I'm the originator. I want to manifest something, right? So he went out west to Oklahoma. He bought 40 acres of land. He chopped it up into little pieces, and then he started team building. He did all the meticulous work of team building. He started recruiting Black people around the country and said, hey, man, why are you up under this guy when you could be out here creating our own? And he recruited them he convinced them all to move to Oklahoma, right? And this is what people thought Deion would do, that he would get all these great Black people to say, hey, don't be up under them. Come to Jackson. Let's make Jackson extraordinary, right? Right. That's what people thought Deion would do. And Deion, I guess, wasn't built to do that. He's fine. He can go get a job. It's fine. Millions of Black people do it. It's not to say that Deion is a loser or a bum or a traitor. It just says he's average. He's average because you can't tell me, give me a yes or no, if you understand that it's very typical for a Black man to simply go take the highest paying job that a white man will offer him. Give me a yes or no in the chat. I'm not making fun of you. Some of us, a lot of us have done that. And it's not a bad thing. When I went to Syracuse University because they offered me $115,000 a year. If they'd offered me Deion Sanders money, hell yeah, I would take that job. But at that time, I wasn't that dude. I wasn't manifesting the best version of myself. I became that dude when I said, to hell with Syracuse. You can keep that job. You can shove it up your ass. I'm going to go over here and create something where there's nothing. I'm going to create something called the Black Business School, and I'm going to use my talent to represent my interests and my people in the spaces that matter to me. And I'm going to go and reach millions of Black people and show them how to invest and show them how to build wealth and give them the most cutting edge, latest techniques of finance, because that's what my doctorate qualifies me to do. That was me trying to be that dude. Not that I need to walk around and keep saying that, because it sounds really arrogant to say that. But I think but what I'm saying is that when you're talking about digging deep into the essence of your God-given, godlike power of masculinity to actually manifest and create something where there was nothing, I don't think Black men, I don't think we tap into that as much as we could. I just don't. I think that we get distracted. I think that there are too many things out here that push us to remain little boys and let the white man be the actual adult male in the building. He gets to be the one who says, I built this corporation from the ground up. You came because you came to get a job, right? He's the one that says, I built this country, right? We know slaves built the country. We know that, right? We know the whole history, but he's the one that says, I fought the British and we fought the British and created our own country. And then we created our own corporations and we created our own sports leagues. Or the white man says, I'm in the Hallis family. And a couple of generations ago, my great grandfather bought the Chicago Bears for $500, and now the Chicago Bears are worth $5 billion, right? And we just sit back and say, gosh, I hope I can get a job playing for the Chicago Bears, or I hope I can become a coach for the Chicago Bears, or gosh, I hope that the Chicago Bears will let me be a 1% owner of their team. That's the role that society relegates us to, and that's the role that we're tempted to accept. And I just don't think that is all that there is for you. I think that my belief is, as a Black man and Black women too, I think there are women who get this as well, is that you have the ability to manifest and create what you want to create. You don't have to necessarily run up behind anybody, so no, I don't have a jealousy of Deion or an anger toward Deion. It's more like, I have a sadness, like a disappointment, because I feel like, man, I really thought you were that dude, and that dude means being the alpha. Alpha means you are the originator. If you're going to University of Colorado, you're no longer the originator. You're following behind what the white man has already built, and that's just my honest to God truth. And I know people are going to get mad about it, but if you're mad, then just prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. All right, so let's see. Let me keep reading here. All right, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My wife keeps interrupting me because she needs to know the Wi-Fi password. So let me see if I can find it. Did you find it?
I have an appointment.
Oh, you have an appointment. Okay. Here, I'm gonna write it. I'm gonna write it down for you. All right. So do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and that second letter is a password. And this is drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. And if you are open-minded and don't mind me pissing you off every blue moon, this is the place for you. But if you're easily offended, this is not a place for you. If you don't want to be intelligent, this is not a good place either, because we're going to challenge your thinking, and I'm going to say some things that won't make any sense to you. And I'm not always right. Sometimes I'm wrong, and I'm okay with that. And but at the same time, our goal is to really analyze things in an honest way and try to explore ways to become better, smarter people. So let's conclude. Let's go back to the Akon thing. Let me make this clear. I want Akon City to succeed. I want to see it built. I hope he builds it. I don't doubt that he can't possibly find the investors to get it done. I think that in this environment, it might be a little tougher because the economy is not as strong as it was before. Even China, I'm wondering how China is doing economically. I know that the COVID thing has kind of slowed them down. So if China is a possible investor in this Akon City, I'd be curious to see where that stands in light of the fact that the investment environment has changed. I do believe crypto is going to recover. That means that if you own things like Bitcoin, I think you're good. I think that Bitcoin's going to do well. Bitcoin's doing extremely well during this downturn. In this crypto winter, the one bright spot of the whole crypto winter, really, in my view, has been Bitcoin. Once crypto improves, I don't know if coins like Akon are going to even be able to really exist. Because I think that what's going to happen, remember this, in the crypto winter, you had 12,100 different cryptocurrencies that are officially dead because they didn't have much substance there in the first place. So as the new regulation comes in, I think what's going to happen is you're going to just see a different standard for what a crypto can be. And so a lot of your smaller cryptocurrencies will not come back. Things like Dogecoin and stuff like that. It won't surprise me if they disappear forever. But maybe once the crypto winter is over and you see a recovery in crypto, maybe this will open the door for Akon to possibly go build some projects. I would encourage Akon, and if he watches this video, I'm totally open to talking to him on the phone, and I'll give him advice for free. I have rappers and stuff. They call me sometimes, and I help them for nothing. Kanye and Ice Cube and all that. I don't mind talking to these guys. I don't call entertainers, but they're welcome to call me. And I wish him the best. Like, I want to see it get done, but I really also think he should consider projects that are just on a smaller scale. Like, go build a mall, man. Go build a school. Go build an office building, and then market those things after you've completed them, right? Don't market it before you get it done, because what happens is people get all excited about the vision. They start to believe in it. And then when it doesn't work, guess what happens? People don't want to invest in the next big project that comes along. Economics is a lot like love. If somebody breaks your heart and they promise you the world and then they don't deliver, well, you're going to be pretty messed up for the next person who comes along. You're not going to be able to trust the next person that comes along because somebody took advantage of you when you were young and naive and willing to love, head first, right? So I think that in investing, I would encourage you all, when you're evaluating any project, anybody's idea, anybody's vision, first question you should ask is, well, what have you invested to make this vision real? How much time? This is my own criteria. This is what I ask people when they ask me to invest in stuff. Because I told you, I get pitched all the time on bullshit projects that are never going to go anywhere. And it's not that I try to be mean. I don't say it. I can spot it from a mile away, but I don't say it because I won't hurt anybody's feelings. But first thing I ask is, well, how much money have you invested in this thing? You're asking for my money. Well, how much money have you put into it? And then I say, well, how much time have you put into it? If you want my time, well, I'm not going to be the first one to put time into it. I need to know you put time into it. And then I'm going to say, well, have you built a team? Like, what's your website? What's your infrastructure look like? And those are questions you ask to determine whether it's real or if it's just, a vision. If it's just a vision, that doesn't mean it's invalid. It just means that there's a big difference. If I had a choice between an extraordinary idea that's just an idea or a mediocre idea that is fully executed and fully implemented, I would take the mediocre idea any day of the week. Any day of the week. And this is true also, like, ladies, when you are trying to even date a man and he gives you the vision for his future, look for evidence of that shit. Like, don't just buy it because he said it and it sounds good and he smelled good when he said it. Like, look for evidence that some of this is manifesting. Even if it's little stuff, even little things that he's doing, to show you that the vision's kind of moving forward. That says something, because there's a lot of slick talking, fast talking dudes that will talk you out of your drawers and get you, giving up your whole entire womb to somebody because he done fed you a dream. He done fed you an illusion. And unfortunately, I believe a lot of this comes out of entertainment. It's all connected, right? You have the rapper culture mixed with the pimp culture. And sometimes you even have pimps in the pulpit. So sometimes even pastors will feed you the dream of the building fund and get your money, get your attention, get your time, get your sex or whatever. And literally it's leading to the bridge to nowhere. So I think substance matters. And I think for men, my advice to men is try to be a man of substance and a man of your word. If you say you're going to do something, show that you're going to do it. Don't overcommit. Don't overcommit to things that you have a hard time delivering. Maybe undercommit and then deliver on the things that you promise, and people will respect you more, right? So one of the big challenges I have with a lot of the entertainers, and I'm going to tell you, I'm sorry, Black people, I think you're overly influenced by entertainers, is that they love to overcommit to big, gigantic visions and then promise and then deliver absolutely nothing. That's the whole thing. It's all about the drama of it all, the extravagance of it all, and all of that. And I just look at that stuff and I'm like, this is stupid. This is a bunch of BS. Just show me that you can do something small and consistent, and I'll respect you a whole lot more than somebody who promises a big dramatic vision and doesn't deliver anything. So I don't think Akon's in that category. I think Akon had every intent to do everything he said he's going to do, but right now it's just not looking very credible, because people that are going to that land and they're not even seeing one building built on that land. They're not seeing any architectural firms making measurements on the land. They're not seeing anybody digging up on the land. So what in the world would make you think that any of this is real or not? I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying, just give people something to hold on to. That's my point. Just give them a little piece of evidence to let them know that you're serious about this. And I think people will respect it a lot more. So anyway, I got to go, guys. I'm done talking. It was great talking to you, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. The new book that I have is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. You can go to boycewatkins.com if you want to get a copy, or you can also go to Amazon. It's on Amazon too, so feel free to order it that way as well. Because I think in my bookstore, I think we sold out, so it's on pre-order on boycewatkins.com. But if you go to Amazon, I think that they can ship it to you right away. So it's totally up to you. All right, guys. So hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe on your way out. I will see you guys soon. Take care. God bless. And and don't forget, this podcast is also on Spotify and Apple. So you can look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown on Spotify, and you can find it that way too. See you guys later. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.